my troopers popping in this bitch, popping in this bitch. Me and my troopers popping in this bitch, popping in this bitch. Me and my troopers.
So, I don't know if I've worn this shirt before, but I'm talking about Ben 10 today, so this is appropriate. This will be appropriate today. Hello, my name is Mr. J3T, aka Big Sexy, aka the Kentucky Cannon, aka the World Class Badass, aka Chocolate Thunder with a Caramel Swirl, aka Black Lightning with peanut butter filling, aka the Man of the Century, aka DJ Big Ed, because I'm a DJ by association, if you forgot, aka Dr. Feelgood. Dr. Feelgood, because I can make you feel good in many ways. But anyway, yes, as I said in the beginning, we are talking about Ben 10. Now, guys, Ben 10 was my shit. Like, I grew up watching Ben 10. I loved this show. I loved it as a kid. And, yeah, let's see how well it holds up today. So, Ben 10 is about a boy named Ben who one day, as he's out on a road trip during the summer with his grandpa Max and his cousin Gwen, something mysterious falls out the sky, and Ben goes up to this mysterious thing, and this capsule opens, and it's a watch. The watch clamps onto Ben's wrist, and now Ben can transform into 10 different aliens with this watch, and shenanigans ensue after that. So, as I said, I loved this show when I was a kid. I used to have a toy Omnitrix, which is the name of the watch. It's called the Omnitrix. I used to have a little toy Omnitrix, right? I used to wear the hell out of that thing. I wore that thing out. Like, oh, I wish I still had it. Oh, I wish it was real so many times. You don't know how bad I wished that little toy Omnitrix was real, because I wanted to turn into all these different aliens. I wanted to turn into Heat Blast. I wanted to turn into Diamond Head. I wanted to turn into Wild Mutt, Forearms, Upgrade. I wanted to turn into all of them. Those are the names of Ben's aliens, by the way. But it wasn't real. But let's put my childhood sadness aside. How's the show hold up? Now, the show still holds up in my opinion. The animation is still really good. This show, Ben 10, came out around the time where action cartoons were all the rage. This came out around the time that Kim Possible was out. The OG Teen Titans, classic Teen Titans, and just a whole bunch of action-oriented cartoons. So Ben 10 fit perfectly in that era, and the fight scenes are great. The animation still holds up. There are points where, like, they, you know how some cartoons do whenever a character goes in for a punch and it just goes into like a comic panel, something like that. So the fight scenes do have a tendency to do that sometimes, a little too much for my liking, but it's still good. One thing that I love about this show is like the transformation sequences where Ben actually turns in to these alien creatures, and I just love those transformation sequences. There's one part where whenever he turns into Forearms, was this big hulking heavy alien, right? Ben's muscle, basically, where he turns into Forearms and all the veins and muscles just pop out of Ben, and like he grows bigger and just grows, and these two arms just shoot from his sides. That's cool. his transformation into Heat Blast, who, as you could probably tell, is a fire-based alien. Uh, his his transformation into Heat Blast is cool. Upgrade, who's like this little I don't know how to describe Upgrade. He's like this kind of liquid type alien that can attach itself to technology and upgrade it, make it better, make it cooler. His transformation as Upgrade is cool. The transformation sequences really like make it looks like Ben is turning into these creatures. That's one thing that I like from this show, the OG, the classic Ben 10, that I don't think the newer Ben 10 shows capture that much. Because if you don't know, this isn't the only Ben 10 classic, isn't the only Ben 10 series. There's been multiple spin-offs, and with each of those spin-offs, I don't think the transformation, whenever Ben turns into an alien, I don't think it really, those transformations really capture, like, the, how should I say, the just awe, the general awe of the OG classic Ben 10 transformation sequences. That's something that I wish they sort of kept, because in the later series, the later shows, it kind of, instead of it feeling like Ben is just turning into these creatures, it kind of just seems like Ben is just putting on a costume. Especially with like the reboot Ben 10 series, Ben 10 2016. We'll get to that later, I guess. But yes, that's just one thing that I like about the classic series is the transformation sequences. The villains. Ben has a decent sized rose gallery. There's Dr. Animo, there's Rojo, there's a Charmcaster, and especially his big bad, Vilgax. Now, Vilgax is an alien who's hunting after Ben to get the Omnitrex for nefarious reasons. And Omnitrex is not Vilgax, excuse me, is just this big hulking beast that's like he can just destroy everything with just like one arm, and that's pretty cool. Like the way I can describe him is Vilgax is the doomsday to Ben's Superman. That's the best way I can describe Vilgax. Vilgax is the doomsday to Ben's Superman. You know, he's just this big, powerful, evil being. And Ben, whenever Ben's fighting Vilgax, I like how sometimes like he can't beat Vilgax with just brute force. He has to get a little creative. The first time that they fought, the watch was glitching out a little bit, and Ben was turning into all these different aliens. So Ben had to adapt. He had to get a little creative in how he's fighting Vilgax, and that was cool. A cool little fight sequence. I would say though, my favorite villain is probably Kevin Levin. So Kevin is a kid that Ben meets whenever Ben and Grandpa Max get into a bit of an argument, and Ben meets up with Kevin, and who has powers too to absorb things, and they sort of team up for a little bit, but surprise, Kevin's bad news, and they ended up tussling. But I like Ben because I like Kevin because I feel like Kevin is sort of what Ben could have been if Ben didn't have Grandpa Max. So throughout the series' run, Grandpa Max was sort of Ben's like his mentor way, his guide, you know, teaching Ben how to be a hero and teaching him how to use the Omnitrex responsibly. Just teaching him teaching him life lessons, basically, his mentor figure. Kevin never had a mentor figure like Grandpa Max, and Kevin ended up being this bitter kid that's only out for himself and just doesn't like anyone. So Ben, even though his heart is in the right place and he does help out people a lot, he can be a little asshole sometimes. He can be a little selfish. And if Grandpa Max wasn't there to guide Ben in the right direction, I feel like he could have turned out a little bit like Kevin. Probably not as bad as Kevin, because like I said, like Ben's heart is in the right place, so probably not as bad as Kevin, but certainly like up there with Kevin. But definitely not as bad, because in Kevin's first episode, he jams the train tracks. He controls the train tracks to where the different train tracks connect, and the trains will ram into each other. So him and Kevin could get some money. So he was literally planning to kill a lot of people for some money. So yeah, but I don't think Ben will turn out that bad if Grandpa Max wasn't there, but certainly I think he would be up there. Also, there's a point where Kevin absorbs all the aliens in Ben's watch, the Omnitrix, and he can transform. Now Kevin can transform into the aliens in the Omnitrix, and eventually, like, they have a confrontation on, I believe, the Golden Gate Bridge, and when Kevin is in his human form, Ben does try and go for the kill shot, but Ben doesn't. He just says he's not worth it and just walks away, and that just pissed Kevin off, and Kevin just turns into this horrific, like, amalgamation of all of Ben's aliens. And it's pretty cool to see. And in that aspect, Kevin is sort of the abomination to Ben's Hulk. So, yeah, he's like that for the rest of the series too. Like, he doesn't turn back into a human. He's that amalgamated. Is amalgamated a word? He's that combination of Ben's aliens through the rest of the series. He doesn't turn back into a human until we see him again in the second series, Alien Force. He is eventually turned back into his human form, but for the rest of classic Ben 10, he's like that for the rest of the series. So it's cool to see. As I said, for Ben though, yeah, even though Ben does have he does have his good spots, he does have his redeeming qualities, Ben can be a bit of a brat sometimes. There are moments where the whole plot of an episode starts with Ben messing up in some way, shape, or form, and then Ben has to go and fix that. So he can be a bit of an asshole sometimes. There's one episode in particular where, like, Ben, Grandpa, the gang, Grandpa Max, Gwen, and Ben go to a music festival that Grandpa Max has been wanting to go for a while now to see his favorite band, but when shit eventually hits the fan, Ben is just like, hey, so we can probably go, right? Because Ben didn't want to be there. And when Max says no, Ben goes and gets a little hissy fit saying, oh, this is so unfair. What about what I want? And it's like, bro, like, shut up. Shut up. Can you not let other people do what they want for a change? Like, yeah, he can be... Ben, there are points where Ben can be a little unlikable, but like I said, Ben has good redeeming traits that balance out his negative traits, right? They balance each other out. because there's another episode where Ben accidentally, he thinks he breaks Gwen's computer, and he feels bad about it, so he enters this mutant wrestling tournament to get money to replace Gwen's computer. There are other, and in that same episode where he finds out that the mutants that he's fighting, need the money more than him, he gives away his prize money to his opponents to save their farm. So that was cool of him to do. That was a cool thing for Ben to do. And so, like I said, like, even though he can be an asshole at sometimes, he can also be a good person other times. So it balances out. It balances out. Speaking of Gwen, Ben and Gwen get into some shit in this show. Like, and most of the times, I'm going Gwen's side, because most of the times Ben is in the wrong. And yeah, I gotta say, that you're getting older when you look back at classic Ben 10 and you actually side. You're actually on Grandpa Max and Gwen's side. You just know you're getting older when you side with them. Ooh, because as I was rewatching the series, I found myself on Grandpa Max's and Gwen's side more than Ben, because, yeah, Ben can be like, most of the time Ben is in the wrong. Most of the time Ben is the one causing the problems. Ben is the instigator. So, yeah, I found myself siding with them a lot. What else? Oh yeah. So Ben and Gwen, they fight a lot, they bicker a lot, but in the end, I like how they ultimately do care about each other, because one moment there's this huge 4-part arc, right? There's this 4-part episode, or a movie. I watched this on HBO Max. I watched the series on HBO Max, so they split this whole thing into 4 parts, but I actually have all 4 seasons on DVD, and on the DVD it's a whole movie. So on HBO Max they split it into 4 parts, but in the DVD version it's a whole movie. So there's a moment where Ben thinks that Gwen died, and Ben takes it hard. Like, he's sad. He feels bad that Gwen is gone, because he thinks he's dead. But once he finds out that Gwen's alive, they're in this huge battlefield, right? And Gwen just shows up and saves Ben's ass. And once Ben sees that Gwen's alive, like, he's damn near about to cry, runs towards Gwen and just gives her a big old bear hug. So I like that moment. Like, even though they bicker and they fight a lot, like, eventually they do care and love each other in the end, you know? Even though neither of them will ever admit it, they do care and love about each other. The classic sibling little rivalry. They fight and bicker, but at the end of the day, they love each other and they care about each other, so that's cool. Grandpa Max, I really liked and I really appreciated Grandpa Max, because he's this wise, skilled plumber. So Max is a part of an organization called the Plumbers. They're basically like space alien police, where they go out and they solve alien problems. So I like how Grandpa Max is like the elder statesman, teaching Ben and Gwen how to be heroes. It's cool to see. They have a nice dynamic, the 3 of them. And Yeah. All in all, I loved this show as a kid, and I still love it now. This is by far the best Ben 10 series. Like, Alien Force, it's good, but the third season is like kind of iffy. Omniverse, same thing. It's okay, but some seasons and episodes can get a little iffy. But the reboot, the 2016 reboot, now, see, when I first heard about the Ben 10 reboot, I didn't like it at all. I thought it just looked like a Steven Universe clone, and whenever I watched a few episodes, I thought it was just going to be some Teen Titans Go bullshit, just stupid comedy. I thought it was just going to be that. But, to my surprise, I didn't hate it. I didn't like it, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't dying inside as much as I thought I would. Like, it was actually watchable. Now, ever since then, I sort of came to terms with the reboot. It's just a show to entertain kids and sell toys. And at the end of the day, as long as people are enjoying it and getting introduced to Ben 10, then that's fine by me. So, yeah, it is watchable. Dare I say, okay. I'm probably not gonna watch any other. I'm probably not gonna watch the whole Ben 10 reboot, but it's okay. It's okay. It's not bad at all. It's watchable. So that's cool. That was a pleasant. I was actually pleasantly surprised that I didn't hate it. That was a pleasant surprise. But to me, the classic Ben 10 will always be the best. I give it 2 thumbs up with a J3T stamp of approval. So, like I said, it's on HBO Max. Go watch it now if you've never watched it. For all the people out there who's never watched the original, or if you watching the reboot, the 2016 reboot, go watch the original, because the original is better in so many ways. And if you've never watched it, and if you already watched it as a kid, go watch it again, because it's definitely still holds up, and it's still worth it. But anyway, that's about it from me. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. But if you really like me, consider subscribing and ring that bell so you always know whenever I upload, because it's free. I keep on telling you, it's free. Don't be a dum-dum. Subscribe today. Deuces.